Howdy, howdy. Great trade today, Larry.
Thank you. That was my most successful pre-confirmation trade. Matter of fact, I think it's probably really the only one I've ever taken. I've been kind of watching it and trying to figure out the deals, and worked out.
They're becoming my favorite.
Yeah, you know, but
Not that I have a favorite, but you know.
yeah. Well, it's nice that you know, if you're sitting there waiting for the box or waiting for the time price, and it takes off without you, you know, you're in. And
Yeah.
when those move, they usually move pretty good, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm finding Tuesdays and Thursdays are good for those for some reason. So good. I really like that you were aware that, I mean, you took the 1 hour loss on the first attempt, and then you waited and you saw the second attempt and you jumped right in.
Yeah.
And I think that was really magnificent mindset work too, right? To not be, you know, really messed up from the first 1 hour loss and then be able to get back in. So that was really good. Really great.
Thanks.
Yeah, I love it. I did the same sequence, by the way. I had that first loss and then jumped in on the dib, and really glad I did.
Yeah.
So it was good.
That's almost, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll talk about Seattle.
Y'all still in that or no?
Say that again?
Are y'all still in it or no?
No, I got out with my target.
Okay.
Yeah. You could hold it. You could have had the TX1 target.
Yeah.
And sat and waited, but it's got a lot of stuff to get through.
You had that monthly?
I had several monthlies. I'm like, that's a lot of monthlies for this thing to get through. and you know, the context for today was the range contraction, and so we really wanted to kind of maybe test the other side of the range. So yeah.
Was it a pre-confirmation trade?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get to watch the market today, so I wasn't sure. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, no worries. I'm going to ask, so I set this meeting as kind of a room, because I like those. I like it. If people want to jump in and kind of talk, I think that makes for a much better kind of meeting and engagement. But it also means be aware if you're not speaking, make sure that you're on mute, please, you know, because we just get the background noise. So I don't mind if you pop in and talk at all, or ask a question or whatever. As we get started, I have stuff to show and I have a presentation to go through. That does not mean at all that you can't raise your hand and say, hey, I have a question about what you just covered. And so at the bottom of your interface and circle, you'll see that there's a little raise hand icon. That's pretty effective. And also, I'm going to ask, you know, some of my students who I work with closely who are on, if you guys could just like monitor chat and hands. If I miss anyone, just jump in and tell me, right? I don't want to miss anything. So I put some links into the chat. So those are some of the things that we're going to talk about today. And let's see, we're going to have a post meeting Discord chat. So, you know, if we go through this material and we don't have a lot of time to, you know, maybe ask questions or answer questions, or, you know, I want to make available, and I've talked to some of the guys that I work with in the program and help them become available too, so you can ask them questions. I think it's valuable if you want to say, hey, what's your experience been? And so if we don't get to any of that, then we do have a post-meeting Discord chat where we can hop on and kind of continue the conversation. So, but today I'm excited. And the reason I'm excited about today is because, you know, for a lot of reasons. One is, the market flow trader community has been a really great community. I think a lot of you have enjoyed being in the community. It's been a big part of your trading development, your trading life. Patrick was awesome for starting it. I don't know how much you guys know, but I came in shortly after Patrick. Patrick and I developed a great friendship, great relationship. I started coaching. I created the Consistency Accelerator program exclusively for the MFT community to help people go from, hey, how do I kind of take what Patrick's doing and actually become consistent with it? And we'll talk about why that's important. Why you need more than just that in a little bit. But that was kind of the impetus for this. And since then, we've I've evolved the program, and now as Market Flow Trader begins to go away, I'm very cognizant that, hey, there are traders that still want and desire coaching, really good, high quality coaching. And so, I've taken the program and I've added to it, and I've included a bunch of other things with it. And I've put together really a special kind of package just for MFT. And I want to be clear, like, this is, while we go through this transition, this is available to you for, really probably through September. And then after that, my program is going to change significantly. It's going to be a mentorship program. It's going to be very high ticket. You can absolutely work with me in that capacity too. It's going to have a lot more private coaching available. But, this is something that I think, works really well for the MFT community for creating something that is affordable and high quality at the same time. That was kind of my intention and my objective. And so what I'm going to do, and I appreciate you guys joining, I'm going to go through, really why I do what I do, okay, how I do it, how do we actually get to a place where we're consistently profitable, what the program does to support that, and then what this all, looks like. All right. And so, like I said, raise your hands if you have questions. I'm happy to kind of answer as we go. All right. So let me jump into my screen. Hang on. Let me get into over here. Bring it into slideshow mode. All right. Become consistently profitable. And so that's the nature of what we're going to talk about. How do you actually do this? And in the course of my coaching over the past several years, I coach on a formula that because this process actually works. So I've seen it work over and over and over and over again with the individuals and traders that I'm working with, no matter where they are. Like, I've worked with traders that are brand new. I've worked with traders that have, been around for a long time. This process works, and it just seems to be a very clear approach to becoming consistently profitable. And, before we get into it, this is my standard disclaimer. All of us in the trading industry have to have this. Otherwise we'll get sued or the SEC will come after us. So just read this, be aware, futures has risk, blah, blah, blah. I think a lot of us, if you're not feeling like this right now, then either you're really brand new or you're really doing well and maybe you don't even need to be here, right? So hopefully a lot of you can relate to this. You're on one side of this chasm and you're thinking, I really want to be over on the other side. And you might be brand new and you might be like, well, I don't really know the path to get there. Or you might have been around for 2 years and you're like, I've tried everything, banging my head against the wall, and I still can't figure out how to get through this chasm. And so, I like this visual. I think about this visual a lot with regards to my coaching. You can do all this stuff that I'm talking about on your own, 100%. Like, you can go and figure out how to solve this problem. There's lots of traders who've done this. And, I think what I'm trying to offer is that help from the other side, passing a...
Fully off, put it on. I've got one of those too.
Hang on a second.
Whatever happens to.
Passing a ladder or a bridge or a timber, as a way of helping to kind of bridge this chasm. The idea is helping you to accelerate the process. How can you get from one side to the other side faster, easier, quicker than if you are left to your own devices? Okay. So I have a question. This is the interactive part. So the question is, let me put it in the chat. What do you think are the biggest reasons keeping you or other traders from consistent profitability? You like this? I'm chatting while I talk. Okay, what do you think are the biggest reasons keeping you or other traders from consistent profitability? So take a minute and just go into I don't have a poll, unfortunately. I don't think I have a poll feature in here, do I? Link to it. No, this tool doesn't give me a poll. So go in here and you guys tell me what you think. What's keeping you? I mean, what do you think's keeping you? All right. Thanks, Chad. Okay, cool. Jason, love it. Chad says lack of discipline, sticking to the rules. Jason says over leverage and over trading. Jason, myself, not sticking to my edge, not following edge, no edge, discipline problem, don't follow the plan. Not consistent in trading, only A+ trades. I like that, Soren. I like that you can distinguish what an A+ trade is. To be greedy, it's great. Nobody's mentioning mindset. Wow. Mindset. Not accepting being read. I love it. Mindset kind of plays its role in a lot of these, right? Yeah, these are all good. These are all really great. Exactly what I would expect from traders who have been around the block, right? You guys have been around the block. Like you've kind of started experiencing some of these things. All right. So let's kind of take a step back and let's orient around the goal. And then we'll talk about some of these challenges. So what is the goal? If we go back and we look at this, hey, I'm trying to get to the other side. What does the other side actually look like? And I'm a really big believer that I think the question you should be asking any coach isn't show me what you can do versus show me what you can do for me. I think the best coaches are the ones that can show, look, I'm an effective coach at helping you become consistently profitable. And so I wanted to highlight some of guys that are on this call. So Brock, Vincent, Misha, Larry, all these guys, they're in the Discord, they're on the call. They're my coaching students. They've gone through the program and they have reached these levels of consistency that they never thought were possible. Here's a great trade from Brock, 14R trade. It was a personal best, huge, massive trade where Brock was overcoming, a year ago, he never thought that he could hold on for more than 3R. And now he's taking, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14R trades. I think, Brock, you just had, what did you have today? Did you have a 10R trade today?
Yeah, 10R. Yep.
Yeah, 10R trade today, right? So the ability to hold, that's one of the challenges that traders struggle with, right? And so we worked on that. You have Vincent, right? Knocking out some consistency with time and price, where at one point, he didn't have as much confidence in the system. Now, boom, he's going to take that every single time. 13.5R from Robert, trading on his phone half the time. We cannot fathom or understand how Robert is banging out these trades on his phone. I have no idea. If you want to know how to phone trade, Robert is your guy. I'm not the coach for that, but Robert is your guy for that. It's awesome. Misha, I love this example where Misha, he took a 1R loss, and we had the same thing happen with Larry today, took a 1R loss, but still stayed focused on their process. And he ended up banging out an 8R trade and netted 7R for the day. I love it. Another good example of that. You know, Larry having a mixed day. He had a break-even trade. He had a -1 R trade, and then he still gets a 5 R trade from staying with his process, right? So I think this is the goal. This is the goal, which is to be able to consistently take your trades over and over and over again, as long as they're within process. And we're seeing these guys do it over and over again. Okay. So we had a whole list of obstacles, a whole list of challenges. I'm sure we can make this really long list. I'm sure if we went on Reddit, there'd be all kinds of, you know, other things that people say is what's keeping us from consistency. There's only really two reasons. And I think you guys hit on it. We don't follow our rules. That's the biggest reason of all. We don't follow our rules. But there's a second one. And this one's a little more scary. We'll talk about this at the end. Our rules don't work. So we don't follow our rules, or our rules don't work. And the reason the second one is often scary is because most traders don't even know it. They think their rules work, but they don't realize that they really don't. And so that's a scary one that we'll kind of tackle and address. But you guys already get the first one, right? We don't follow your rules. I imagine every single one of you, I could ask the question, how many of you are sometimes absolutely, let me use a word because I know we have some foreign people, like what's a word for flabbergasted? Like shocked, surprised. You cannot even understand why you can't follow your rules. Anybody ever feel like that? Like, oh my, I cannot figure out why I can't follow my rules. My rules are simple. Why can't I just follow my rules? If you've ever asked yourself that question, well, welcome to trading. You're a normal trader, right? Yeah, emotions get in the way of that for sure, 100%. All right, so there's only two obstacles, right? The solutions we have available for these two obstacles, what are they? Well, you've probably turned to books. So that maybe you first got your start reading a book, whether that's a mindset book or whether it's a training book. So in my program, I talk about two different types of action that we take: passive action and massive action. And passive action is when we're really consuming information. We're consuming content. We're learning mode, right? You sitting here today, this is just passive action. You're just sitting and you're listening to some guy talk at you passively. Watching a video, that's passive action. Massive action is when you put into practice what you're actually learning. And so when you want to progress and develop, you have to do both. Reading a book may be helpful. It may not be helpful. It may not be enough. When you go back and you kind of consider these two things, how many of you have actually read a book that has solved either one of these? Probably not. Or you also, I'm not sure why you're here, right? So this is just part of the puzzle. There's this stuff, right? This industry, and I get it. I know how easy it is to become cynical about the whole industry. You know, even about me, like half you guys don't know who I am. Some of you do, you know, you've worked with me or you've coached with me. A lot of you don't. And so it's really easy to be cynical when there's so much of this stuff out there. Look, 90 minutes a day, 4 days a week, you can make thousands of bucks. It's easy, right? It's not. I'm not here to tell you that this is an easy lifestyle or profession, or this work to become consistently profitable is easy. It's the opposite. It's really hard. It's one of the hardest things that we do. But you're fed this stuff. Traders are fed this stuff all the time. Just do this one thing. Just change your system. Just all you got to do is follow this new system, right? And that's what you get. You get all this stuff like, hey, I'm going to teach you a new system. And the new system is going to solve your problem. By the way, I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to talk about a system later, right? But it's in context of everything else, right? The system itself doesn't solve the problem. And any of you who've signed up and, you know, you signed up for Patrick's, and I love Patrick, and Patrick that has done a great job with Futures Masterclass, or maybe you're doing the Oliver Velez stuff, right? It doesn't really matter. I don't care what system you're trading. You've probably found yourself learning a system, studying a system, becoming proficient with a system, and still struggling. with consistency. This is what we've inundated this market with. I think the market's broken. I think this whole industry is broken in terms of how we teach traders how to become consistently profitable. I think it's broken because you get piecemeal information. You'll get one thing about a little bit of snippet. Here's a mindset hack. A mindset hack isn't going to change your mindset, right? Here's a system. A system isn't going to change your profitability trajectory. There's a whole bunch of stuff that makes professional traders who they are. And we have to do a better job in this industry of understanding what those things are. Okay. And that's the attempt. This was my attempt with the Consistency Accelerator, is to bring much more available to you in a holistic way that solves these two problems. Because I see it very simply. These are the two problems that we need to solve. Okay. I'm going to pause in case there are any questions. I didn't see any hands go up. You guys see any hands go up? I'm just looking. All right. I had to make sure no hands go up. Okay, cool. I'm assuming everybody's like, yeah, we get you. All right. So what's this all about? All right. So these are the two obstacles. What does the Consistency Accelerator do to address these two obstacles? So let's talk about that here. I have to keep muting people. All right. Some of you have seen this. If you've heard me talk, and either with Patrick or elsewhere, I talk a lot about this. I call this the trader's triangle. And what I tell people is I say, the ingredients to becoming consistently profitable are very simple. There's really just 3 ingredients. And those ingredients are edge, process, and mindset. We'll talk about each one of those. Now, the recipe for how you put those together, how do you follow all the steps and all that becomes much more complex. But the ingredients themselves, these are the 3 ingredients that solve nearly every challenge associated with becoming consistently profitable. On the edge side, what we have is we have a set of rules that you follow that have a statistical probability or likelihood of profit. This is what you get when you hear the term, you need to be the casino. You're putting a statistical advantage in your court based on the set of rules that you're following, right? And so that is edge. Edge is supremely important. The first thing that we address in the Consistency Accelerator program is edge. And even if you think you have an edge, it's still valuable to go through that part, to test it, to validate it, and even to do the work to optimize it. Process includes all of the things, all the skills you have, all of the practices you have, all of the habits that you have to help you execute that edge as perfectly as possible. So it could include things that you wouldn't normally put into the edge side of things, like getting enough sleep, or doing a workout, or getting yourself mentally in a good mindset for the day, right? It also includes very specific execution skills, like how are you going to enter your trades? That may not be part of your edge, right? But whether you take limit orders, or whether you take market orders, or whether you take stop orders, how you manage your trade management, how many losses are you going to take in a day before you quit and walk away? Those things become part of your process. Those are your trading skills. And one of the things that we focus on is we focus on setting goals to make those skills better. I love the analogy of the 1% better. I don't know if you guys have ever read that book or that story of the British cycling team. I use that all the time when I talk about process, because that's exactly what we're doing. We're looking at all the minutia of how we execute and how we prepare to execute, and how can we make it better? How can we make it 1% better? Better and better every day. This process stuff is the stuff that makes you a better trader once you have your edge taken care of. Now, mindset is really interesting. And the way that I do mindset is very different from anything else that I'm aware of from a mindset perspective. And the reason is because I am professionally trained on very specific practices, so cognitive behavioral therapy practices that are specifically designed to help you change what you think and what you believe in order to get different outcomes. And so the mindset part of the Consistency Accelerator program is not the typical, oh, this is what you should be thinking at this time. This is what a successful trader, feels when they're taking a trade. It's not those kinds of things. It's where are you at with your current mindset? Where do you need to be? What's that gap look like? And now here's some very specific practical things that we need to start doing to change what you think and what you believe in order to achieve your desired result. So it's a practical program that's designed to change your thoughts. And you'll hear from a lot of the guys that have worked with me, of how effective it is in helping you to do some of that work. So when you take these three things together, edge, process, and mindset, they can tackle those two main problems around following your rules. Why are you not following your rules? Someone said it, emotions, right? Emotions are created from the way that you think. And if we can change the way that we think, then we can change what we feel. And if we change what we feel, we can change the actions that we're taking. That is what I call the paradigm as part of the mindset work. And that is the core of how we create discipline. We change what we think in order to change what we do. And so that's what this program is about, is creating that consistent discipline and following your rules over and over again. But first, we want to validate, and we need to make sure that you actually have an edge. So there's a roadmap that the program is laid out, to follow. Okay, so call it the consistency journey roadmap, if you will. Okay. The first step, as I mentioned, is edge. And when you start in the Consistency Accelerator program and you start in the edge part of it, then the first thing I'm going to have you do is to start actually creating and documenting your edge. You're going to have to write out a plan. You're going to have to sit down and maybe share it with me or share it with a colleague. And I'm going to maybe challenge you, like, well, what about this? And what about that? And have you thought about this? And is this too vague? Right? We're going to work together to make sure that you have a very clear plan that reflects your edge in a set of rules that can be followed. Not all your rules are things that can actually be followed on a consistent basis. If you really were to sit down and do this exercise yourself, then you'll find you might have a little bit more ambiguity than you want or expect that you have, that you need in order to trade consistently, right? And so this is a good litmus test for making sure you have really crisp, clear rules around your edge. Next, we follow a whole process for validating our edge. I'll show you how do you track your edge, how do you measure it, how do you make sure that the rules that you've written down are A, executable, and B, actually produce a statistical advantage for yourself. And I'm going to get to this in a second, but I will tell you that is something that I have on many, many occasions worked with traders on who've said, oh my gosh, I've been following this system and it actually doesn't have an edge. No wonder I'm failing over and over and over again. Okay. And then there's an aspect to the program where we talk through and work on how do you actually improve it? How do you optimize your edge? Because any edge can be made better. Okay. All right. So that's the edge part. The process part, again, I talked about this from the perspective of, once we have our edge really clear, we know what we're doing with edge. Now, what does it take for us to execute that? Are you able to get up and be in your seat on time every morning? Are you ready to trade? Are you doing reviews so that you can look at where you're falling short on your execution? Do you have all the right skills around your platform? right? Do you know how you're going to execute? Do you know what your risk management plan looks like, right? All this process stuff, we're going to identify what does it take to become, a really good executioner of your system, of your edge, create goals that you're going to try to target to become better at those things, and then a track and measure part of the process. And the track and measurement comes by way of one of the modules called the 5 Trades Challenge. It's a special challenge I put together as part of a workshop, and it's designed to get you to create discipline around following your rules. It's a really, really great exercise for doing that. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you, I had a coaching call yesterday. You guys can go back and look at the recording of the coaching call. Some of the guys I've been working with for some amount of time, starting to fall back maybe into some older habits. And the solution is take a step back, go back to the 5 Trades Challenge, and start working on the 5 Trades Challenge again. Anytime you need to reset, this challenge comes into play where it allows you to come back and reset, refocus on process. Okay. One of the things that I will coach you on for sure over and over again is process over profit. Our focus will always be on process, not on profit. Okay. And then on the mindset stuff, I already talked a lot about this, right? But this is a practical approach to mindset. There's some theory of understanding the brain and how the brain works and how our thoughts impact our actions, how our beliefs impact our results, right? So you need to learn some of those things, but then we put that into practice. There's specific exercises for helping you become aware. So that's the first stage. Are you aware? Do you even know when you're taking a trade? Do you even know what you're thinking? Do you know how you're feeling in the moment? If you don't, then we haven't done a good enough job of creating the awareness in that moment. Because if we're having a thought that, oh my gosh, I can't lose this trade. Let me just follow me with this, because this is a common one. I can't lose this trade is a thought that comes up. So you take that trade and it starts to come against you. And if you're thinking, I can't lose this trade, what are you going to do? You're going to move your stop loss? Maybe. Are you going to add to your position? Maybe, right? If you can recognize and be aware that you're having that thought, and that thought is going to lead to actions that cause you to violate your rules, then you can actually replace that with a new thought. Replace that with something that's going to generate the right result for you. Okay. And that's the work that we're doing, is creating awareness, learning how to replace the thoughts with new thoughts, and then practicing those on a repeated basis. There's also a component in there around beliefs. So it's really important to understand underlying beliefs, because you're having thoughts in your head. Do you know we have 6,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day? Men probably less than women, I would say. My wife seems to have a lot more thoughts than I do. She'll ask me what I'm thinking. I'm like, nothing. I don't know if anybody else has that. I do that all the time. But, we have a lot of thoughts. Where are those thoughts coming from? Where are the source of those thoughts? I know this is kind of an esoteric question, but it's an interesting one, right? Well, they're coming from our core beliefs, right? If we have a core belief that we always fail at something, then we're going to have thoughts that reinforce that belief. And so part of the process, part of the, what the accelerator program will do is there's a whole section on beliefs and how do we actually change what we believe. Did you know that you can change your beliefs? Well, you can. A belief is merely a thought that we choose to think over and over again. So we can learn new beliefs, we can practice new beliefs, and we can choose beliefs that help us more as traders. Okay. The mindset part of this program is incredibly powerful. But the reason that it is a flow like this is because of this, because there's one scary part that I've talked about, which is you have to answer this question. Is it you or is it your strategy? Is it you or is it your strategy? And this is some of the new stuff being added to the Consistency Accelerator. So if you've already coached with me, or if you're unfamiliar, then this is all new. But if you're already familiar with what I've been doing with the Consistency Accelerator, the edge process mindset stuff, you're probably familiar with that. I added this because this problem has been coming up so frequently, which is it you or is it your strategy? And I have this quote from one of the guys I work with, Scott. You can reach out. I put everybody's name on here so you reach out on Discord, right? And see that they're real people. I thought I had a mindset problem when I actually had an edge problem. It's funny how fast mindset issues can clear up when you have a strategy that provides consistent results. So when I first started coaching a few years ago, I really focused on mindset first. And I just went in, just took my professional training around CBT and other things and kind of started applying it to working with traders. And I had so many clients that I had to turn away because I would, sit down and talk to them, find out a little bit about what they're doing, and eventually say, look, I can't coach you until you fix your edge. And they would be bewildered. Like, what do you mean? And I would say, you don't have a mindset problem. You have an edge problem. You actually don't know whether you have an edge or you think you have an edge, but that is not providing you a statistical probability of profit. So you have to fix that first. The reason that we take the approach, that I take the approach of edge first and then process and then mindset is for this very reason. A lot of what you do in the edge and process part of the program, you'll find clears up a ton of the mindset stuff that you might be struggling with already, right? And so if you can go through those parts of the program, the edge part, the process part, you're really going to make a lot of headways on the mindset stuff. And then we can move into the mindset work. So if we go back and we kind of look at this map, this can be very scary for people when they start coming in here. And so there's 3 scenarios that will happen. Scenario number 1 is you're brand new to trading and you have no idea what any of this means anyway, right? You don't have an edge. You don't have an edge. You don't have a system. You have no idea. Okay. So maybe some of you fall in that category, right? Maybe you're brand new and you just started Patrick stuff or Revan stuff or whatever, right? So that's category number 1. You're brand new. You don't have anything. Okay. Category number 2 is that you think you have an edge and then you go through this process and realize that it is an insufficient edge or it's not an edge at all, or it's not executable, right? So that's really important. That third part is really important as well. So some of you might be there right now. You might already know, I have this edge, I have this system rather, but it really doesn't give me enough edge to account for, however I'm trading, my personality type, my ability to execute. I can't seem to execute this edge, right? And so you may not know that until after you go through this part. And then there's the third category where you've already done this work and you have an edge and you know that you can execute it and it works really great. And what do you do then? Well, you can move on to the other stuff. You can move on to the process and mindset work, right? Not a problem. Because there's obviously some other things that are keeping you from consistency, right? So we just want to rule out the edge part. Now, for the first 2 groups or for the third group where you're like, hey, I think I'm actually interested in, kind of expanding out what I do for an edge. And for those of you who've listened in to our Discord, we have a lot of guys that are trading a type of trading called data flow. This is the way I trade. I love it. I have converted over from, other more traditional trading approaches exclusively to this approach to trading because it has been the most clear for me. It's been the most profitable for me. It's been the thing for me that I enjoy the most about trading. So when you think about an edge and why an edge fails, okay, there's a lot of different reasons. Okay, aside from the fact of, maybe we're not disciplined and we're not following our rules. I get that. Like, those are totally valid reasons why an edge fails. But an edge itself, right, the actual rules could be insufficient rules for a number of reasons. So one is that there's too much discretion associated with the rules. So if you're ever finding yourself where you repeatedly have a situation where you're like, well, I have reasons in my edge to go long right now and reasons in my edge to go short right now, and that happens a lot, then you probably have too much discretion in your edge. When you have to make a decision and the decision is still ambiguous, right? And you have, reasons to do one thing and reasons to do another thing, that is going to intensify the mindset challenges that we already have as traders, right? And yeah, you can spend the next, I don't know how many years resolving the mindset stuff to really become a good discretionary trader. But I have found that high levels or highly discretionary systems are very difficult for people to master. Okay. So the more you can introduce more mechanical approaches into a system, the more likely you're going to see faster success. Okay. We're talking about acceleration here. Poor built-in risk reward. There are a lot of systems or a lot of people that will advocate a scalping approach. If you are a good scalper, that's awesome. Like, great for you. I have found that scalping is very challenging for most people. And when I say scalping, what I'm really talking about is you have a set of rules and you're really taking very small risk reward off the table and you're doing it quickly, right? So maybe you're risking 1R and you're capturing 1R, or maybe you're taking out half at 1R, half at 2R. Your net on 100%, if you got 100% of your trades, your net R is 1.5 average net R per trade. Okay, that's if you are 100%. And so you have to have, when you have really poor built-in risk reward, you have to have really high win rates in order to be successful with those types of systems, right? And so that becomes a challenge for a lot of traders, because you've got to spend the time and effort in your process part of the work you do and your mindset work part of work you do to take all the trades that show up and to take them, the A+ setups, right? Being able to identify the A+ setups and then only take the A+ setups, right? And you still have to come out with really good market outcomes. And it's really hard to do. So, the risk reward, the built-in risk reward aspect of your system could be a problem that's part of your edge. We talked about ambiguous rules, right? So that's part of the discretionary part. When you have to make decisions, it may be because of the rules that you have, they're too ambiguous. Uncertain entry criteria. So you might have a set of rules and you might have entry criteria that, sometimes you do it one way and other times you do it another way, right? And then this one is a really big one, low confidence targets. And I'm going to go back to Patrick because I think a lot of you took Patrick's stuff. How many of you were bewildered as to why Patrick was exiting when Patrick was exiting? Anyone? Anyone, please? Anyone surprised? Go ahead and put in the chat. There's no... If I'm the only one, then I may be the only one. But I suspect that many of you who've ever followed or watched Patrick or other YouTubers, sometimes it's a little bewildering as to why someone is exiting. So when you have a system or an edge where you don't have clear targets, and you have, again, it goes back into that discretionary part, right? When you have that part of your system that isn't a high confidence way to get out, then that's also problematic. Sorry, I'm a little bit tongue tied. I'm listening. I'm watching the I'm watching the chat. Yeah, Bueller. Thanks, Misha. Yeah, Bueller. Nobody's answering. So yeah, that's one of the challenges too, is when you don't have a lot of confidence in your targets. And these reasons, why our edge fails us, these are the reasons I love the data flow work, because the data flow work does solve all of these edge obstacles. And it is a, one of the most, I think, exciting innovations I've seen in the market for trading than anything I've seen in the last 10 years. It's really cool stuff. I really enjoy it and I really like it. I'm kind of speaking from, my heart here, my off the cuff. a bit because it is such a great way to trade. It is a new way to trade. It is foundationally based on a premise that algos are in control of the market. And so we can use data and statistics about market data, historical market data, to understand how the algos are actually manipulating the market in certain ways. And so the great thing about it is very clear entry rules, very mechanical, ways to trade, very clear targets. So our targets are super clear. Our minimum trades are 3R. So it's got fantastic risk reward. And as you can see from what we're doing in the Discord channel, you can see what everybody's posting in terms of some of their trades. The R associated with some of these trades are, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14 R trades. These are oftentimes very big trades that are occurring for us. So it is a great system. It's one that works really well for if you're in Europe, because there's a European session. If you are someone who works, and you're trying to, juggle a job and you can't sit and be hyper focused on the markets all day, every day for hours. There are some setups that allow you to be much more relaxed in the market. I think that's one of the terms I heard over and over again from some of my traders. It's a much more relaxed way to trade. I tell you all this because these are the new modules that have gone into the Consistency Accelerator program. So when you talk about things that are new, you will now learn about data flow trading if you want. Okay, you don't have to. You can stick with your edge. You can add this as an extra edge, or if you don't have an edge, this is an option for you. I am agnostic to what you trade. My job is to help you become consistently profitable for whatever approach you decide to do. Okay, so I just want to make sure that that is super clear. That's what I'm in for. This is our goal: consistent and persistent profitability. This is the goal. This is the objective. Everything that I do in the program is really designed toward this end. It's toward helping you become consistently and persistently profitability. It's not enough for you to have a streak of a month that where you're super consistent. I want to see long-term persistent success here. I've structured the program in a way that this is the most affordable it's going to be. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. You have 30 days free. This is available to MFT members and people that you invite, and that's it. So I'm not, there's not a big campaign going out or anything like that. This is for you guys, and this is for people that you want to invite if you want to. If you have, like your brother wants to learn how to trade. I don't know why you would inflict that on your brother, but you can absolutely invite them into the program as well. You can go month to month, so it's a little bit more expensive if you go to month to month. If you do the 3-month option, then it ends up being $99 a month. You have access to all of it. I'm changing my program. So as I mentioned at the very beginning, I will be doing more private mentorship type of work. And so this really is, as we transition out of the MFT community and into, new things, this is going to be kind of the last big offer for all of you guys at these kinds of price levels. So I just want to make sure that's clear. I'm going to be very upfront about where I'm headed in terms of my coaching and what I'm going to be doing going forward. The access that you get is you get access to obviously all of the, the foundational edge process mindset modules. There's a lot of indicators that support whether you're trading Oliver Velez color change, right? So that's a big strategy that my group actually employs for execution. So I've got some indicators there. Those are all included. Some of you may already have those. Time and price is a core data flow foundational strategy. It's a very good strategy. We love it. We love trading time and price, and that's included in the program as well. You'll get access to any group coaching meetings we have. I plan on having regular group coaching. One of the things that I want to do is have orientation meetings. So you'll see in the next week, we'll have orientation meetings where I can help walk you through, what is your individual plan through the program. Like maybe you don't need the edge stuff, or maybe you're solid on process, right? How do we help you get through the program in a way that's personalized or tailored for you? So we'll have some mentoring sessions and or some orientation sessions. You get access to Discord plus extra Discord stuff that's going to be there. I'll be revising or kind of reformatting a lot of the channels in Discord server this weekend to kind of account for, the free tier, where the public tier, rather, the Consistency Accelerator tier, and then I have an advanced tier as well. Speaking of the advanced tier, there are more strategies in data flow. If you decide you like the data flow stuff and you want to keep going and go into more of the advanced stuff, then either sign up for the 3-month program or stay on the month-to-month for at least 3 months, and then you can get access to the advanced stuff. You will not have access to the advanced stuff right away. And I have a reason for that. And the reason is because I need to do my best as a coach to get you to be consistent. And that's going to require you to step through certain hoops first. So it's part of the plan of helping you become more consistent, to hold you off from some of the advanced stuff early. And I think my guys would probably agree, if they, I think they'd happily, say, yes, you need to master the foundational fundamental stuff first before you get into the advanced stuff. The advanced stuff those are the big trades that you're seeing. So those are like the 10R plus trades. A lot of those are the advanced trades that the group is taking. So you have 30 days free until August 11th. And yeah, this last time at this price. This program is specially tailored for you guys as part of the transition out of the MFT stuff. So I hope I didn't miss anything, and I hope that was pretty clear as to what we're doing. You guys have questions? What do you want to know? Anybody?
Taylor.
I can always count on Julian for a question. Thank you. I love it.
Yeah, very could you just, by the way, the presentation is fantastic. So thank you.
Thank you.
Crossover.
The difference between the monthly and the 3-monthly and the delayed access and the access, when you say the advanced data flow, could you clarify that a bit further, please?
Yeah. So actually, hang on. Let me go in here. I have a slide that I hid. Let me unhide this slide. Why can't I unhide? Oh, unskip. There we go. Boom. Let me show you this. Okay. These are general estimates, people. I have to put my disclaimer on general estimates, but I wanted to give you an idea of the different strategies that are part of data flow and what those look like from a performance perspective, right? A typical kind of average performance, hypothetical performance, right? So as part of the very basic, just you sign up now, you'll get access to the box strategy, Julian, and then you'll get access to time and price, and you'll get access to those particular strategies there. Okay. And all the indicators, right? And I think, you're in a little early. So I think you probably are starting to see some of that content in there, right?
Sure. Yeah.
The advanced setups these are additional strategies associated with basically what data flow is it's a pre-built playbook for you that's supported with additional indicators and data, access to data that allows you to trade some additional setups. And we start looking for setups I'm on Central time. Well, let's talk about Eastern time. So from 7:30 Eastern time to 9:30 Eastern time, we call that the transition phase. Okay. So that's this bottom one down here. That's transition. From 9:30 to 10:30, we call that the DR formation phase. And there are setups that occur there. We have data that tells us what's going to happen between 9:30 and 10:30. And we could potentially find setups during that phase. And then pre-confirm is after 10:30 and before we have what's called a confirmation in time and price. And so as an example, today's 10-hour trade that Larry took and Brock took, that was a pre-confirmation trade. These approaches require access to the raw data tools that I use. So the other things have indicators. These have indicators, but also access to the raw data tools that I have. And so there's more stuff available that's part of this. And the reason for delaying is because if you can't trade either the box or time and price consistently, you're not going to trade these consistently. There's no reason for you to be looking at these if you haven't really mastered these two right here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so
completely.
my goal isn't to kind of give you, 10 parts of a system and, good luck and have at it. My goal is to get you consistent. And so if we can hammer out the edge process mindset part and make sure that you do the 5 trades challenge and you knock out, the 5 trades challenge with time and price, okay, you're ready to move on to the next thing. But if you can't do that, keep working on that, and then you can move on to the next strategy and the next strategy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely. And,
Yeah.
and really what I was looking for, I guess, is how quickly one can advance to the advanced setups.
Yeah, it's up to you. It's up to, I want to see your ability to consistently trade the time and price.
Cool.
That's what I want to see.
So the way I read the previous slide was that you had to do your 3 months probation, if you like, before you could move on to your advanced.
Yeah. And that's, I think it's going to be about 3 months for you to kind of go through this process. But if someone comes to me and says, dude, I did all this work, I've knocked this out, I'm trading this consistently, if it's like 2 weeks in, I'm not going to believe you, right? I'm gonna be like, no way. Because so one of the things that you'll find in the program is this isn't just a sit and learn program. This is a sit, learn, and do program. And so one of the things that you're going to have to do is an immense amount of back testing. I'm going to ask you guys to work. I'm going to ask you guys to work. And if you don't put in the work, you're not going to progress. And so it's not going to, you can't knock this out in the weekend. Can you watch all the videos of this program in the weekend? Probably. Can you do the 300 plus back tests that are part of some of the parts of the challenge? Can you do all the measurement work of looking at your profit factor, all that kind of stuff? No. And so you can shortchange and I'm not talking to you, Julie, now I'm talking to everyone, right? You can shortchange yourself and try to jump ahead and knock this stuff out fast and say, I only want to pay, I want to get through this 30 days and I'm done. And I get that, but you're not really developing, right? You need to take the time that's necessary for you to make the changes. The title of this presentation was Become a Consistently Profitable Trader. And if we just take the mindset, you have years. I mean, Julian, I'm 50. I don't know how old you are, but I've got at least 4 decades worth of wrong thinking, not wrong thinking, but I'll term it that way, of really crappy thinking that I've had to unwind. And so it's not going to happen in a weekend. I'd love to tell you guys that this is easy and it's going to happen in a weekend, but it's not. Mostly this is not directed to you, Julian, because I know that that's not your question.
No, but I get it. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've had 45 years of bad thinking.
Right? Yeah. So I just want to make sure, Eduardo and Chad. So I should check the website, but it should line up to this here, which is Yeah, it's 99 times 3. 99 times 3 is 297, right? It's 3 months up front. Yeah, so it's 297 up front, right? I guess I could probably set up some sort of payment program. I don't know, but yeah, we can probably look. I don't know. I can figure out how to do that. Eduardo, contact me afterwards if that's a problem. You know, like I could probably do I think I can set up like a payment plan, a 3 months. You're going to commit for 3 months and then a payment plan that you just take out $99 a month. So I want to make it pretty easy for you guys. Julian, that was good. I appreciate that. Thanks. Thanks for asking that question.
Thank you.
All right. What else you guys got? Okay. So I'm just gonna open up a Discord voice channel. Anybody can come on that wants to. We kind of take out the kind of formal aspect of this presentation. Hang on, I'm just gonna copy the link here, post it in here. You guys are welcome to come in. Some of the guys that are in the Consistency Accelerator program are going to be there, and so this is a good time for you to come in and ask. What do you like? What maybe I shouldn't even show up. Should I not be there so they can ask you guys? What do you think, Brock? Just you guys run it?
Either way, yeah, I don't know what people want to ask, so yeah, we're happy to do it without you if you want.
Wow.
It's fine.
All right, I'll come in. But if you guys are like, hey, we want to ask them secret questions that we don't want Taylor to hear, then I'll hop off. How's that?
Just use the secret code word.
Secret codes. That's right. I love it. All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. And I'm excited about this. I hope you are too. This is going to be a great journey. And I, as your coach, am committed to helping you get to your goal, which is consistent and persistent profitability. So let's do it together. All right. Thanks, guys.
Tanner.
Thanks, Taylor.